going live again. So, let's take away this guy so you can see what we've done together so far. Me and you and all of us. Oh, yes. There. So there's the bridge. We were working on the bridge yesterday, and we did this little knob together, and so I added a few little waves. There's a really cute tool here. There's different tools. Not all of them work like they say they, like you imagine them to, because like water, you're like, okay, that's not the water I'm looking for. Organic, you're like, organic cotton is pretty good, and rainforest is great clouds. I actually like playing with snow gum and these other snow gum, mountain ash, and paper daisy. They're kind of wild and bold. There could be really good, fun cartoon graphic-y type things to use. But I've worked with them in a way that I can try to make them subtle and blend in and actually look like real foliage sometimes. So those are pretty fun. But the best thing to use for water is under elements. So this water is pretty cool too. This is kind of more underwater looking, but it can work. It can work. And then the oceans is what I used. So let me get each get a little bit. Let's get a light color so I can show you, and then we'll continue. I'll go above that, and you can see ocean. See, isn't that nice? It's pretty nice. And you can do it really light, very barely detectable, but it's detectable. See, and it just gives enough, like especially right here where that indicates this thing is in the water. This is a reflection. That's another thing about the reflection. Oh, another thing about the reflection that I forgot to do yesterday, and maybe we can try that now. Is well, I actually did it a little bit already, but I can do it even more. So we grab it here. I already did it, so probably shouldn't do it anymore. But you can squish it because before it was kind of it was as the same length, about the same length, and anything that's in the water doesn't look quite this, as long. It looks a little bit shortened. And I also noticed in the original photo that it kind of looked like it was going this way. So maybe the motion blur is more. Whoa, that's too much. I don't want to mess everything up. Where am I? Okay, now I want to go. Oh, yeah. Yeah, those are kind of like two of those are together. So let me see. Let me just see if it motion blur just on the. Yeah, you can't really, because that's on a different layer. So I just don't want any of that saved. So the best way would be to to grab, not grab all of that, to grab the part that's in the water. If like you're really going crazy with detail, and then motion blur that, just that. See, there you go. That's a little motion blurry. I don't know if it needs it that much, but whatever. It's probably like after all this work, it's probably not going to be something you end up seeing in the final the final card. All right, so let's go back to Some of the reason why I decided to come back on is because two, one, I still have work to do, on the painting in the picture, and two, I've got some good feedback from last night. So if you enjoy it, feels soothing or whatever, um, I'm happy to do this with you. So what I did, I asked my AI person, I was like, AI, can you remove the guy with the map so I can see the boat more? And they're like, yeah, sure. So now I can see, and of course, that's not all they said. That's the bad thing about Gemini. Gemini goes into this long spiel. One, you did a great job by deciding to remove that guy. You know why? Because one, this, and this, and this, and this, and two, blah, 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 and three, blah, da, 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 da. And I'm just thinking, yeah, yeah, yeah. I just want to see the boat. That's all. But anyway, I do so much appreciate Gemini's help. Thank you, Gemini. Okay. One, I thank you so much because you provided me with lots of positive feedback. Two, with so I am now just tediously doing the lines, but I'm getting a lot done. So join me in drawing lines. Like this is tracing. Tracing, and then the final product, I'll just be using my sort of painterly technique to make it look realistic without being, I don't want the ship to be so bold and the main thing that you notice, because yeah, let me just, I got this just for this reason. See, you can insert a photo, so I'm gonna insert a photo, and I'm inserting, here is the Three of Wands. So I want to keep with that, the basic energy of the Three of Wands, to see how the ships, they're so tiny. He's like really overlooking the world. But, there's a lot of similar elements here with the mountains. The water here is actually colored orange, which is funny, but it obviously it's water because the ships are on it. But that's fun. The fun thing about Rider Waite Smith deck is the weird color backgrounds, and they're symbolic too. So, yeah, I get it kind of like a hopeful, joyful feeling from this with the golden energy, like yes, and it's the fire, and the wands are sprouting. That makes me think maybe I could have like a little bit of greenery on these wands here. Or instead of lanterns, I could have planters. That's what I should have done. But lanterns are good too because it represents fire, and that's wands are the fire element. But anyway, all right. So I'm gonna remove. No, I can't remove that guy because I need him. Do I need to? I was gonna. Let me see. Where am I? Yeah, I don't need the dock right now. So I'm just isolating the boat. In fact, I was thinking of just making the boat on a different layer, but I'm probably gonna do that once I have the whole thing outlined. I'm gonna do the same setup again and just focus on the boat over here and the colors of the boat, and then my version of the boat on this side, the ship, and then get into the details of that. So yeah. All right. So that's why I needed you here to help me outline it. I mean, if anybody's actually listening, because I usually don't go live on Thursday nights. I don't know if I ever, yeah, I have. I've gone live when I've, you know what, I haven't, put any notifications in the community page, which I probably should do. But, and sorry, I have also not put notifications in the community page when I didn't plan to go live. I just sort of stopped going live, and nobody really asked about it. So I figured y'all didn't care too much or whatever. And if you wanted readings, you could reach out to me, email. But I know that you guys care. You do care. I just anyway, yeah. And if you listen to this, after the video uploads, it turns into just a regular video that people can just watch at any time. And it's also under my podcast list, so it's something you can listen to and not have to watch. Although it's a very visual thing, so it's kind of weird to just listen, but you know, the tapping sounds and my voice could be nice things to listen to. And then also, sometimes I talk about stuff like, so I ended up talking about a lot of different subjects or different parts of the process last night and just different thoughts in my head. And it was sort of therapeutic. So I kind of like, maybe I'll do that again. If it's good for me, if it's good for you, I think it's good for me too. So, in this part of the process, tracing the lines, the focus is really just to get the shape of it, like in its space, in the space, so I know what I'm working with. And then I can go back and add the details. So I don't have to be hyper detailed while I'm doing this. But the more accurate you are when you're outlining, the easier it is. That's what I was going to say about tattoos. The easier it is to go back in with details later. So tattoo artists, they take their whatever the subject is, like, okay, the drawing, somebody finds a picture, draws a picture, gives the tattoo artist a picture, the tattoo artist draws a picture, and then it's outlined, and then it's put on this kind of paper that's transferred onto your body part. And so it kind of looks like that, like it's just a bunch of lines on your body initially, and then it's filled in. And so that's kind of what feels like the process feels like a little bit to me. The lines are like these, hard edges. In fact, instead of soft brush, I could use medium or medium hard brush. But I generally still like soft brush for everything, just because if I have to do light tapping movements, it's just, I don't know. I'm just used to it, that's why. But, and also, if I'm honest on the soft brush and I need to start shading or feel the need to shade or something, I don't have to switch back and forth all the time. And soft brush is, like kind of the best way to shade something in. So the shading part is like the shading part in tattooing to me. So, I mean, I've only done I've done one tattoo on myself, and I've gotten two others, and I've never gotten a really one of those larger type tattoos that take a lot of shading. So I don't really know how that, I mean, I never seen that process, on me in person, but I've watched tons. I mean, I was so addicted to Ink Master. I watched tons of those kinds of videos and people doing it because I find it really fascinating. So yeah. So that, and there was another thing that I was going to talk about. Oh yeah, printers. Okay, yes, now I remember. Something else that I started to talk about yesterday and I didn't finish the thought. So one of the things that I was talking about was that I got a laminator for Christmas. And then I went off in a whole rant about printing cards and la 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 la. Well, the one of the reasons why I wanted a laminator was so I could print some of these cards and laminate them and just use them like that. Like I've had a lot of like my very first deck that I made. In fact, the first three decks that I made, I had a lot of mock decks, mock versions of them. I've had a lot of mock versions of a lot of these decks, you know, that I've tried out before I've actually got them printed. So, and actually, I think they're right here. If I could, yeah. So this little project didn't turn out so well because I'm new at laminating, and I ran it through a few times, but it does peel. Like unless you have it, you just have to have it around the edges, you know. So anyway, but that's something that I might do a little bit more of too. I might print some and laminate it and make a little mock deck until I can get it really printed. But really, I mean, it is a little pricey, but I feel like it's worth it, you know, it's worth it. So to get it printed with make playing cards. And like I said, it is a little pricey, but compared to other printing companies, it's a lot more affordable. There's printing companies out there that also they have a minimum, like you have to print a minimum of 15 or something or more. And like I just want a sample. Usually I just get one deck just to see what it looks like. And a lot of the times the first version is not the one that I want to go with. And so then I keep working on it and tweaking it, and then I get it to the point where yeah, now I'm ready to get a few more. When I was able to, I got more in bulk, but right now, if I got one, it would just be one for myself so I could do readings with it. So, thank you, anybody who's here. You're welcome to talk to me if you want to, or ask me any questions. But I'm just trying to get this outlined, so then we can take it to the next step. And where was I? Where am I on the picture? It's so bright on the. Okay. Just wanna. Did I undo that? Oh no. Did I draw on here? Oh, I did. Okay. So nothing to fear, but I ended up drawing on that same layer as that card. So luckily it's on this side, so I can just grab it. I don't know how much, but I can just grab it and cut it and paste it. And I'll just remove that and merge it down. There we go. Okay. Oh yeah. What is that? That's just a highlight. Okay. I didn't know if it was any cloth. It looks so gold, doesn't it? Looks very gold. Let's get this gold then. Light gold, cream, or whatever that is. It could be something that I end up getting at the end or changing. So if you're watching, or if you watch later, if you're visiting or whatever, um, and you're not a subscriber, definitely subscribe. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and it kind of helps me out, especially, yeah, that's one way to help out. Also hype if you're allowed to. I don't know if you can hype. I don't think you can hype lives. When I did the here, I realized I didn't really need to make the line straight. I all I had to do was just draw it. But if you feel scared of drawing straight lines, then it's nice that Procreate will take the fear away by making it straight for, if you want it. Hmm. This is so much detail. Might leave out some of the lines and just some of the basic things, the math for sure, and some of these, but there's a lot of lines on this boat. It may not look realistic if too much is taken away, but at the same time, it's supposed to be subtle. It's not supposed to be hyper noticeable. The main thing I want to notice is the pioneer, because that's who this is about. The guy overseeing everything. And because I came up with the archetype, the wingman, I actually it makes me think of How I Met Your Mother. I don't know if anybody's watched that, but the wingman, and they meet at a bar. I mean, they don't meet up. They hang out at a bar. Those people in that show, and Barney is Ted's wingman, and is always trying to help him get girls, whatever, hookups and dates and things like that. But Ted, see, Ted is definitely like, he's the kind of guy that would get my channel. He's like you guys, that have been here, believing in soulmates and things like that. He believed in a soulmate, that special someone, that counterpart, and he just believed that she was out there for him, and he felt like he would find her. And then there was, he had certain connections with people that felt promising or whatever, but a lot of them didn't pan out. Robin was always there for him, but that was also kind of awkward because, like, is she a friend, roommate? What is she? That doesn't have to be too, like, fancy either. Like, oh, I gotta make sure that I don't. Not that one. Okay, because I don't want to mess up. Get some of that color. Of course, if you weren't here last night, you might not understand some of the things that I'm doing. So definitely can ask me. So basically what I'm doing is this image is my palette, and I just grab colors from my palette, and they go right there, and use my pen to, or paintbrush or pencil or however you want to call it. Eye pencil, but the eye pencil has different brushes. They're called brushes. You can actually buy brushes, but I feel like it's pretty unnecessary because there's quite a big selection. But there was one tutorial, I'm sorry I can't remember her name, but along with her tutorial, she also gave you some free brushes. And these are very nice because the skin dots are great for texture and lots of things, but face. I use the skin dots and the texture of the guy's coat. I'll show you. Take a little break and show you. In my Three of Swords, in his coat, I use skin dots to help give texture. Let me see. And I mean, I use the hairbrush. I use hair strands all the time. It's a very nice one. Then this one's a different one too. It's pretty nice. I don't know why that happens. And that's nothing. And there's all the recent ones I used. Yeah. What? There's one called, I think it was, yeah, Inktober. That was nice. I did a pumpkin. She did a tutorial for with a pumpkin for Halloween. I haven't seen her lately. I thought I subscribed to her, but yeah, I think she was just more of just sort of random kind of artist person. All right, where am I? Do I want to? I'll make sure I'm in the right. I gotta go back to airbrushing. So, waiting on the world to change. That was one of the topics yesterday. And I was listening to that song today and just checking over the lyrics. Maybe I might sing it. John Mayer. I also like to sing songs. I sing karaoke. So if you want to ever sing karaoke with me, I sing karaoke on Seal, and I'm Cherry Chaka, but I also have Cherry Enchantress listed there. And like, there's a part of me that doesn't feel worried. I mostly feel hopeful, but then today I stumbled upon a lot of different viewpoints, and there's a lot of, I don't know, there's people who are worried, of course, which is understandable. And sometimes instead of news, I'll just check out a psychic and see what they have to say about things. The psychics, sometimes don't make you feel much better. I like to watch it. The astrology ladies too. They're like these political astrology ladies. And astrology is a good way to also to kind of understand, to help kind of understand timing of things. When when's a good time to do things? When's like a more benefic period, or when's there could be ones that are more challenging time frames. We're in Mercury retrograde, so that's another reason why I don't always like, I don't know. I maybe Mercury retrograde is telling me that I'm supposed to do something different. Maybe that's what I was feeling. Okay, so what do you guys think? I don't know. I'm gonna just do the other masks, but I don't know if I need to do those lines up there. Maybe we'll see. My kitties are wandering around again, wondering, what am I sitting in the dark for? Now would be a good time to have a song, I guess. I'll sing to you. So, if you are wondering, if you just got here or you're wondering what I'm doing, I am drawing the ship for this Three of Wands. I took away the 3 guy. I can add him back. He's just gonna get, no, don't play with that. No, don't play with that. Yeah, so here's the story. The story starts off with higher love and the 2 of Wands. So they have the map and they're in this higher dimension and they're trying to figure out where they're going to find each other on Earth. And so finally the time has come that where they're going to do their quest, have their search. And then we're like here with, well, okay, let me just, no baby, here we are with this is the pioneer. This is the one half of that couple, the soulmate couple, and this is his wingman, and that's the ship. That's the pier, that's the 3 of Wands, and there's the fairy, represents the lady in that drawing, the soulmate. So it's kind of like she's in disguise, or more or less she's an aid to help him find her in the flesh, in human form. And so that's kind of the story that I got going here. And I'm just trying to incorporate all the elements that you would if you had a 3 of Wands from the Rider-Waite-Smith, like that. So we have the ships and we have the 3 staves. This one doesn't have one, but it's gonna have it. And we have the land. I don't always have the same coloring, but I could have a little bit of red in the outfits, maybe. So here's the three. 1, 2, 3. But I asked Gemini to remove this guy so I could see the boat. Wasn't that nice of him? It does look nice without the pioneer there. I'll just, whatever. We'll just hang out with the wingman instead. So I could put the wingman behind him, but I want to make sure that the the posts are not covered up too much. The ship can be covered because the ship is kind of background energy anyway. So there you have it. Okay. Let's make sure I'm on. Don't want to be on the wrong layer. And I'm trying. Let's see how everything looks. How's it looking? It's looking like a ship. Okay. Hey, Llama. 8417. Thanks for saying hello. How you doing tonight? Did you hear my story? So it all started with this higher love concept and how we are meant to find each other through multiple dimensions and time and all of that. And that's why I'm enjoying this particular card, doing this one with you guys, because it's very on topic. Where, I'm the romantic fairy, and when you come here, you're getting readings about, most of the time it's about your love life and other things, but yeah, so so Procreate is a, you know what? Here's another thing that's so nice about Procreate. I've worked with Illustrator. I went to art school for a while. I was in I'm a graphic artist, graphic designer, and the school I went to, Art Institute of Houston. It was a 1 year school, but if you wanted to get a degree, you could stay a little longer. But I was pregnant. I got pregnant towards the end of my end of the year of school, and I thought, oh no, I guess I better just, finish up and do what I need to do. And back in those days, I wasn't as bold and brave as I am now. Well, I've been in and out of that kind of energy. Like there's times in my life where I've been more bolder and braver, and other times where I was not quite so much, but I just, this being a mother and taking care of my baby was so strong in my mind that everything else fell away. Like my whole um my whole idea of career is like, well, yeah, but I just really want to stay home with my baby. So one of the last courses or steps that we had to take in at Art Institute was like a kind of a networking, marketing, meet and greet. I'm like, oh great, this is what I'm really good at. not. And it's funny because here on YouTube, it's something too that I've had to learn how to do, the whole networking, meeting people, talking to people. And it's the hardest part of the whole thing for me. You might not believe that, but it is. And I am a little bit better at it now than I used to be, but it's never been anything that I like as much. I'm very natural hermit person. I'm not a natural go out and about person. But I, you're sometimes you're just forced into roles that you're not used to doing or comfortable. Like you're forced to go outside of your comfort zone, whether you like it or not. You end up doing something like that, and then there's lots of times where you end up liking it, right? You just like it, and so you do it again if you need to. Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I was talking about Art Institute and graphic design. And one of the things that they had in school, that was a very expensive learning lesson, though I have to admit. I like learning like with James Julier much better. It's free. And so back to the what I was going to say before, this lovely app Procreate. Okay, yeah, here we go, full circle. This lovely app Procreate was only $12 a year, okay? And whereas these really fancy Adobe freaking things, um, what is it? like, I'm thinking of all of them at the same time and I can't even say one of them. Illustrator, Photoshop, all of these things, are so expensive. And I actually have another one that I use on my laptop. It's called paint.net. Not regular paint, but paint.net takes like regular paint to a higher level. It's very close to Photoshop, and it's free and it's great. And it's not that I'm purposely cheap, because if I had the money, I certainly would spend it on people. If I had the money, I would go to James Julier's Procreate and give him like a bunch of money, but I I appreciate those people that do provide free things or low cost things. That helps me quite a bit. Yeah, so yeah, and school was very expensive, very expensive. And so trying to be self-taught is a perfect thing to do as a hermit. My skin's flaking on my finger, my cuticle. So, Lama, do you have any questions about what I'm doing, or have you been around a while? Do you know who I am? Did you stumble upon me? How did this happen tonight? I was once called a llama. I I had this teacher called Mr. Scardino. Mr. Scardino. Most of the kids in grade school were Italian, with Italian last names, and it was kind of like if you had Italian last name, you were a cool kid. Unfortunately, I did not. My last name is Swedish, but people thought it was German, and so that was really not cool. Anyway, Mr. Scardino, I I saw him much later after I graduated and was a little older. I saw him again, and He gave me a nice compliment. I thought it was nice. He said, "Wow, you're so pretty. Your eyes are so big and pretty. Like you look like a llama." And I'm like, okay. Thank you. I don't know. You were bored and you wanted to relax. Nice. I'm glad. Well, that I got a comment last night, or I mean, I got a comment about last night that I was soothing or relaxing. Oh, that boat doesn't have, does it? Yeah. And that, was encouraging. So I was like, well, if I can help somebody relax, then that makes me happy. So here I am. I like to watch people's drawing videos too. Yeah. What was I watching recently? That was really nice. And before I started doing James Julia's tutorials, I did exactly that. I just sat there and watched. It was soothing. And I watched tattoo videos just the same way. Okay, let me see where I am. What I still have to do. Getting there, getting there. What am I missing? I got that poop deck. I guess I should do those wires and that mast. Yeah, because I need to do that mast and that deck. And I'm just gonna keep on going with all the wires. I'm like pretty close to, yeah, I should do that one, I suppose. I'm pretty close to getting it all anyway, so might as well keep going. Oh, I gotta make sure that I'm looking at the right one. Yeah. Very good, very good. Very good. Okay. And I will get that color, I guess, a little bit darker. Sometimes. Oh wait, make sure I'm all right. Okay. Okay, good. Here we go. It's like it's in this moment where I just like sink in. I'm like, yeah. And it's all about lines and shapes. And it's not about the big picture anymore. It's just, yeah. And everybody that's watching and anybody who's listening, I mean, this is what I mostly do. The only other thing I did really today was clean house. And I still have more cleaning to do. I guess I'll do it tomorrow. This was the mask that I hadn't done right. And yeah, I felt like coming back. Because I feel like, we're invested now together. We started yesterday, and I feel like you need to be with me tonight, too. And then it'll be so satisfying when I'm done because I'll know that some of you out there went the whole way with me, you know, the whole process. You can see how I do these things. This one is a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to think of the word. It's more, it's, I'm, all I can think of is upfront because I'm really basically I'm gonna use those two guys. I'll probably change their faces. Maybe I'll go find models or maybe even family members or whatever. But their clothes are gonna be those clothes. I mean, it really is almost a direct copy. The only other, I mean, I see what I normally do is when it comes to my designs, I have an image in my head of what I want. And if I can find something like that that I can copy, it makes it easier. But if I can't, then I have to put all the elements together to create the look that I'm going for. So this was more challenging because all of these different elements I had to come up with separately and put them all together. But this one was like one of the easiest. It's hyper detailed, but it was the easiest because it was pure a pure copy of the original. More basically, like there's some softening of the background that I did to kind of recess the ship a little bit and not make it as important as the original. But other than that, you know, it was pretty much the four horsemen were pretty close to just being what you see. Like, well, to be honest, the Knight of Cups was a little bit harder because he had different elements, and he was very kind of challenging. It took me a little while, but the Knight of Wands, he was pretty easy. But I did have to incorporate different elements for the background because I couldn't find just the right background that I wanted. So I put together a bunch of different elements for the background. I saw lots of beautiful sunset farm type thing places, but not, you know, like some of them were just too barren, or some of them didn't have the house and whatever. So I put all the elements together. So that's the only real thing that I guess that's makes it, you know, unique and different and challenging is getting in the elements. Like this one, the fountain was also a mixture of two different fountains that I put together. So a lot of my designs end up being sort of like little Frankenstein monsters. They're like putting pieces together. But this one is a little more straightforward. I think that's the word, straightforward, because it's gonna be pretty close to the to this this look, more or less. My idea though is I actually like the way this guy looks. So I was thinking his face would be the pioneer, or they like the guy, the tour guide, the wingman would be the short dude, and the handsome tall guy would be the soulmate. So I might swap bodies, swap, swap objectives here. You know, he's the one holding the map and he's the one pointing or something like that. I was trying to tell Gemini to do that, but Gemini couldn't quite figure out how to do that. So I can do that easily. It's not too hard. And then the other part about the subject matter would be like, who do I use? So I might be end up thinking about that for a while. Maybe tonight I'll, as I drift off to bed, I'll do some searching on the phone for subject matters from people that might work. Okay. Well, thank you. Okay, so I'm back to this back. Well, let's see. Where am I now? So I got the deck, I got the masts, got that mast and that mast. Yep. So really the only thing left are all the wires. So I'm just gonna hit it. I might as well just put them all in there. Yep. Okay. All right, and then I don't know if we'll do it tonight, but maybe tomorrow night. I was thinking of tomorrow doing readings if anybody's interested, but I could do half and half. I really want to show y'all the next step. We'll see. We'll see how, I might do it tonight. Okay, I might do some tonight. Okay. All right, so let's get to the wires. Okay, so we're gonna get probably black, or like this black is not black black. It's kind of a gray black. I kind of like it. It's a blue black. I'll use that, and it's gonna be at 100% opacity. Nice intense lines, and it's gonna be like really low. The only thing I don't like about putting it low is that it starts to get pixelated. So I have to don't put it too low. Maybe I'll start, well, what's real important are those two things right there, whatever they're called. Some people might know if they're, let me see, does that, yeah, that goes over. Huh. No, I don't need to do that. Because this one you're gonna see how I really do it. I showed you the dock because in a different kind of order than I normally do, just so you could see the process faster. But normally what I would do is like outline everything first and then put the color underneath until I get to a stopping point, and then add the detail on top. But okay. All right, now we just kind of sink in and pick some lines. Great thing about lines is they're straight, and I have a tool that makes straight lines. Now, that's kind of dark. I think I'm going to lighten up just a little bit. Let's see. That's kind of dark. Let's let me a little bit more. Maybe like that. How dark? I mean, they're pretty dark. Those lines, let me see. Oh yeah, it's not quite. Let's try to get the darkest. It's not that dark. Okay, let's see how that works. That's pretty good. I don't want to. Sometimes I need to stop halfway so I don't mess up. Now the line would normally get thinner, but I would have to go to, so I'm not going to worry about, because this is not realistic. It is surrealistic to a certain extent. Okay, I need to separate this one a little bit. It's making me sleepy and thirsty. I always forget to bring some. Do I have something over here to drink? Oh no. And this is like a really, and I enjoy doing something like this and just vegging out watching TV or something like that, but TV is just not so enjoyable anymore. But I did get, my curiosity got piqued by this one show. Now I forgot the title, but it's Netflix and it's with Nicole Kidman and what, Jamie Lee Curtis. I was like, what? And like all these great actors, and oh yeah, it's a Scarpetti. Her last, the the character's name Scarpetti, and I thought it was really well done, but it's very, it's very graphic. So it's about forensic things and bodies and cutting bodies and things like that. It's fine. I mean, it's the storyline, so that makes it's not just gratuitous, it goes with the story, but still, it's very, in your face, that kind of thing. And actually, the other night, my daughter recommended watching Frankenstein, and so like the first half, the Doctor Frankenstein. I hope it's not too much of spoiler alert if I say this, but it's split in two perspectives. The story of the perspective of the Doctor and perspective of the monster. And the Doctor's perspective, that was a little bit hard to watch. But the monster's perspective, I actually liked that. But I like murder mysteries, and so that Scarpetti show is kind of a murder mystery. And it's a series, so it's like, nothing that they solve in a 2-hour movie, right? You have to invest and stay with them through the discovery of things. And this discovery of things is it's kind of disturbing. It's just disturbing, like, subject matter, but it's intriguing, I guess, too. So I don't know what to make of it. If it's something I want to watch, most of the time when I watch things, it's more like mostly for background noise while I'm doing my art. So it's not supposed to be something I'm supposed to pay attention to very strongly. And it's funny because what I was talking about, How I Met Your Mother, and how this card kind of makes me feel like that because of the wingman. And they're not actually at one point I thought I was gonna put them in a bar, hanging out, checking out the girls, whatever, but I decided no, I'm just gonna stick to the original idea. And so it incorporates enough of the original symbology that I wanted to have. But Yeah, but the How I Met Your Mother is a show that my daughter always loved, and it just became like she was in charge of the TV for a long time there when she lived with me, and it just became the background noise. How I Met Your Mother. We just like watched it over and 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 over again. But kind of that was sort of soothing. That was like a soothing thing. I think that's wires up there. I can't really tell. This is kind of shadow. Yeah, I don't know. And then later I'll just like go through everything piece by piece for the details. Well, thank you for the thumbs up. Usually on my lives, uh, Divine Goddess has to ask everybody to give it a thumbs up. No, that's too bright for that. I don't know. Is that necessarily? Is that necessary? Is that wire necessary over there? Are you anybody who has worked on a ship before? Would you be mad at me if I left out some of the wires? Tonight, I guess less talking and less show and tell tonight. Maybe it's not as interesting, but I have an objective with you guys. So if you stick with me, you can see what I want to do at the end of this. Once I get all the lines in, it's gonna be so exciting, you guys. It's gonna be like time to shade the tattoo. Especially if I get, that was the other thing I was gonna say about tattoos. That's the other thing. Like, okay, when I was watching like Ink Masters or something like that, the more detailed or the more lines they could get in, sometimes it made it more complicated. Like it's hard to see the subject, I guess, it's hard to see what you were doing. But the more lines that they could get in, I think, the more detailed the end result was. So when they traced, their image to put on the person's body, the more the more lines they were able to trace, the better, I think. Because it's not then if you leave it, if you don't put enough of the lines, then the rest you have to kind of like, it has to be either imagination or, yeah, kind of imagination. And the some things that you find out about the people are sometimes they are good tattoo artists, but not necessarily good freelance artists, like just people who know how to just draw. And it feels like the people that made, lasted longest or made it farther were ones who are also good artists. I really like um, Ashley, what's her name? Ashley Nicole, something like that. Anyway, she is really beautiful, and I mean, I almost got a neck tattoo because hers is so pretty. But it's like they're beautiful but painful, and so, and also, it does it does. I think it creates a situation you can't be quite as flexible about your image. So, not that I'm a chameleon or anything, but I like different looks. I don't know. I like to that's why I have like wigs. Sometimes I like to go with a blonde wig every once in a while, but mostly like my dark hair. Or I like, red lipstick or pink lipstick. So, I like to change things up. But to be honest, I really kind of keep things the same a lot more than I think about it. But but that's the thing with eyebrows. There's been a few times where I've wanted to get my eyebrows tattooed. My um, permanent makeup, and I just what is this? Is that a wire? I'm just gonna do it, whatever. And I there's a part of me that's like, I can pencil in my eyebrows while while the look is nice, full, lush eyebrows. Sure, I'll make my eyebrows nice, full, and lush with extra pencil. But what if the time comes where, sparse or pale eyebrows is the look? Not that I actually so keen on following trends anyway, like that's not that important to me. But just, I don't know why, but I just kind of like the flexibility of having my eyebrows the way they are. And I can add or take away makeup, but you just can't take away something permanently unless you have, if you get an expensive tattoo removal thing. And now they have nice makeup that covers tattoos really well too. But anyway, my daughter got a few tattoos too, but she kind of did the same thing where she was like, "No, I don't think I need any more. I think I'm done." But she could have easily gotten carried away, I think, too. Either one of us could have. Especially if I had started earlier, I probably would have. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about tattoos, but this this Procreate stuff kind of makes me think of that time period where I was considering, and I bought myself a whole tattoo kit and everything and taught myself a little bit. I don't know. I don't think it would ever be for me for real, but it's something that I admire. And I remember it's interesting that I'm using a brush called airbrushing. And I remember years ago, I was a pencil color artist, and I would see other people do this amazing, very smooth, realistic art. And like, how do they do that? And they say, oh, that's with airbrushing. I'm like, oh, I mean, how do you do airbrushing? But now I get to have a similar thing with the brushes of Procreate. Yeah, so when I graduated Art Institute, I was full belly of my daughter and decided to stay home with her. And one of the things that we did, we showed our portfolios at the end. And they had some like beginner jobs. Just sometimes I wonder if there's a parallel me somewhere in the universe doing some graphic design job. But I also found that I like, I don't know, I like art for the sake of art, but I don't like to be under pressure and timelines and things like that. Even though I've been commissioned, to do my pencil color drawings for people within a certain time period. I generally don't like that. I could though easily do a graphic design job of just outlining things. Would be fine. But now I don't even know if that kind of stuff exists anymore. Now with AI, like none of these like types type things exist. So right now what I'm doing is just kind of like mostly for pleasure, but also just to put my own energy into it, I feel excited for anybody who watched this process, because then when I show I'll probably make like a little time-lapse video of it, and then you can be like, I was there when that happened. There's so many lines. I'm getting there though. I'm gonna have to take a look at it again in a minute. See where I am. And it's funny, I'm all, like, I'll say, well, I don't have to do all the lines, and then I usually end up doing all the lines. And I like don't consider myself a perfectionist, but then I like really do things over and over again until I'm happy with it. And then I mean, I have to admit though, I usually am pretty happy with the things that I do on Procreate. I look at it and realize I could take it even further and I could get even better. But that's through my life as an artist. It's funny looking back at the drawings that I did a long time ago. They're pretty good for the time, but and when I was doing it, I really liked it. I thought, hey, this is pretty good. But when I look back, I was like, wow, I've come a long way since then. There's only one card that's bugging me right now, though. It's the Two of Cups. I just feel like, why didn't I work on the bodies a little bit more? They're a little crunchy. I don't know. Not detailed enough. I might go back and do their bodies. Because that's an important card. I'm going to grab some of this brown. Okay, now let's take a look. Whoa. See, now that's a nice tattoo. So those lines, man, that would be very complicated. You know, like, because that's one of their toughest things is doing really the fine point. No, I don't want that. But what's missing? Those lines back there, I need those for sure. And the lines up there. Okay. Hey, baby. And actually, the tattoos that I have are just line drawings. I'm happy with just line drawings that don't have shading. Well, they're line drawings that are like filled in. And they're my drawings. I gave them my drawings and they put them on my skin. I actually really did want to. I really did want to get a couple more, like my logo, my fairy. I wanted my flying fairy on my arm. I don't know, someday maybe. I don't know. It's starting to hurt a lot more because I have like nerve issues. Oops. Can't see, buddy. Yeah.
I took my medicine.
Okay, great. What's going on? Why are you so pepper? My cat loves it when I ignore him. He's like, "Oh, you're so attractive when you don't pay attention to me and you just sit there and draw." Is that the key? Just ignore people? What time is it? Okay. Been doing it for an hour and 20 minutes, but I'm getting pretty close to this main part done, and then I'm going to take it into the next step, And I probably won't finish the next step entirely with y'all, but I'll give you kind of a clue how it's gonna go. Alright. What's that? That is... Oh, it's 2 little wires. Okay. They don't have to be perfectly straight, right? And I'm starting to get a little like cross-eyed now. Oops. Alright. Where else? Oh my goodness. It's like never ending. It's like, it also kind of gives me like a Charlotte's Web thing. Ooh, it also reminds me of fractals and repeating patterns. Okay, did I get them all? I think I did. Let's see. I think so. Let's check it. Let's compare it. Yeah, just this line right here. And I need to check it against this person. That one. Okay. Very nice, very nice. So now, here's the next fun step. So here's what I'll do. Okay. I am gonna do this. I can copy just that layer. I think that'll be good enough. Okay, I'm gonna copy this layer and go do this screen size thingy again and paste. There it is. And then I'm going to just take the boat like this. Are we good enough? Copy and then paste. And then that'll be my palette. And then my boat on that side. So just kind of similar to how I did. Maybe screw it up a little. Try to even it up enough that, you know, so I don't get too confused where everything goes. So kind of just similar how I did this side by side. Now I'm doing the boat side by side. And because things are on layers, all I would have to do is remove remove that layer and add the boat from what I'm gonna be working on right now. And the main, you know, you don't have to do it that way. And I could keep working on the boat just on this drawing here, but because I like breaking it down for you guys, like y'all watching, to see how it's gonna go. So one of the fun things, okay, so one of the things that you can see is the masks don't have all the like details. Now I could go in and give them a few more. You know what? I might just do that. I think I will. That's just me, Virgo moon, I suppose. This is what happens. Okay, so what color will I get? A little bit dark. That is that dark enough? Can't even see it. Well, I guess I'll go a little bit thicker. Yeah. Yeah, just a few here and there, just kind of like, whoop, whoop. It looks like nothing, doesn't it? Because, like, look, closest is like, what? Ew, that looks like a mess. But, you know, after all of this work, I might even like soften it up so much you won't even see it. I might even like put it in a I might even put it, you know, like some mist in front of it so it like obscures it a little bit. You know, there's some ideas right there. Or not, but anyway, I think those are all. It's just this one that just looked like I need a little more detail. Something like that. Okay. So I'm going to go add a layer, but I'm going to put it underneath the lines. Now some of this I colored in. I'm just going to keep going with this color over here. And the dock is there, and so the dock is going to cover it, but I still want to put the color there anyways. Just kind of indicate it. And then, yeah, it's kind of goes down there, and then there's that pull, the pull Yeah, just kind of give it an indication. Because later, that's the thing. That's the reason why I did this, is I can put this in my accessory box. because I'm gonna probably obscure it so much that you won't even see it that much, and all that hard work. So I'm gonna put it in my accessory box, so maybe I can use it at another time, in a different way, perhaps. Perhaps. I'm just gonna bring it on down. Hmm. You really, I mean, when I lightened it, like you could see a little bit, but I think I'm not even going to try to find this other color or whatever. It's a lot of it's going to be hidden anyway. That's what James Julier always says. A lot of it's going to be hidden. But he does a bunch of detail too. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add those together, merge it down. That way, the next thing that I add to it, okay, I'm going to add the layer again and put it underneath. The next color, like the brown, I can do, oh, I need a lighter brown. Maybe a little warmer. I can do it like that, and you see, I feel like it still needs to be a little lighter. That's better. Maybe a little redder. Yeah. I guess that's good enough. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, that's better. So, I forgot to do that pool. I had to do that. Oh yeah, and these are like lines. I guess I'll add those to the end. But anyway, yeah, that's a band of blue. So this is, fun part because it's the coloring in the lines part. And then it really starts to look more like the thing when you do this part. And right now I'm just kind of like putting down the color, and later I'll add the highlights and lowlights and whatnot. But see, like if you were just kind of doing a graphic ship, you could just boldly color it in and not, and then you have a nice bold colored ship. You don't have to have layers and layers of detail. You can just be lines and shapes. Oh, what's going on over there? I guess that's, and continue that like this. And that's another post that I didn't do. There. And that's the steps. is right there. There, yeah. All right, and I'll finish that brown. And those stairs are a little deeper color. And yeah, they're like thick. I'll have to remember that. And then that's just the line right there. Very good. I'm starting to get hungry. And I'm trying to fast. Let's eat hard. And I'm getting cross-eyed. So I'm not going to do this too much longer, but I think I just wanted to go ahead and, well, this is actually, what is that? That's, okay, I see. There's a bit of a shadow there in that little, but anyway, that color continues. I guess that you can say kind of addicted to this because I could keep going and going and never stop. So I kind of have to make myself a schedule and I say, okay, time to stop and go take a walk. Time to stop and go eat something. Time to stop and yeah. But the good thing about being a bit obsessive over it is that I'm gonna actually do it, because it's a major thing to take on, a 78 card deck drawn not just pips, but like actual themes for every single and I didn't know if I could do it, but I feel like I'm gonna be able to do it, like keep going. Just keep going. So I'm gonna do, I like this color right here. It's kind of, I don't know why, it's kind of making me think of Star Wars and and tusks. Is that too? Yeah, it's got to be lighter than what I'm already using. Like that. Yeah, that's about right. It's just a bit lighter. Sometimes, see, the other thing is like when you grab the color over here, don't always get you. Now, you don't always seem to use that same color in the color wheel. Like maybe I would go over there a little bit because it's like in the dark, but it's lighter than the brown. But this part of the brown's going to be shaded in a little. So this, I don't know, I just generally like to go a little bit lighter than the color that I'm picking when I press on it. Because I've noticed when I finish with my art, it usually looks a little bit dark. But then I also noticed other times where I've actually used the actual color. Looks pretty good. And then on my other, so I'm going to go ahead and merge them down so that now when I add a color, I see it won't bother it. All right, I think it's time for me to take my break and take a stop now. But yeah, there you go. I'll probably add some other colors in to this webby thing. It's neat. Whatever the heck it is. The design of the ship is it's a little AI-ish, but I'm not gonna fuss. It's gonna be kind of recessed anyways. And I think I think one of the men are standing right there, maybe. If not, maybe I'll just make him stand right there. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's meant for it's more symbolic than anything else anyway. And my deck is, fantastical. It's fantasy. Fantasy. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, we got a little bit of a start on the ship. And that's how I like to fill in the mess. That would be satisfying. 'Cause that should be pretty simple. This is like that. The shadows, well, I'll do the shadows later. And anything that you paint outside the line, you can erase too on your layer. And then this line seems too random. This one. So, I'm not gonna merge them down just. So I just feel like that one we can erase. Yeah. So it's a little messy, but I'm just gonna go over those with the darker color. What color? Did I already color? You see what I'm doing? I need to quit. I need to quit and I keep going. Yeah, that's a good color. I'll do this one. Did I make my under layer? Yeah. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm drawing on that layer. Well. Nothing wrong with that. It's just, no, it's just, it's actually, it's just that you're gonna go over the line, which is okay. In some ways, it's even better because sometimes those lines need to be blended in because they're not always the right color. All right, blend that, merge that down. And there we have it, you guys, just for now. And I'll probably have the ship done, and maybe next time I'll be working on the subject matter, the dudes. I don't know what I'm gonna do for them, who I'm gonna use. I'm gonna just do a little research. But if anybody has any ideas, like any actors or models or people in my family, like if you know people in my family, or I just don't like to repeat family members too much, but I'll go through my family here. Okay. This is my niece Mia. I don't know her very well, but She seemed perfect for that role of the student, the first grader, the kindergartner, the girl, the little kid starting off on their journey. And then there's my son, and then there's me and my sister's husband. And that's Michael of Healing and Beyond. And there's my brother and his wife, and that's my nephew, that's my cousin, and that's my daughter's boyfriend. And she is like nobody I know, but she represents a lot of friends I've had. So she could be just like anybody. That's my mom as a younger lady. That's my son. That's random baby that looks like every baby that's been born in my family. Like it looks a lot like both my son and daughter. That's my goddaughter. These are like a random couple, but it could be me and my twin flame. And this is also a random couple, and that's my daughter. And this is a combination of different people that I've met that were motorcycle bikers. And this is my godson. And then a few of these people you might recognize from my family. And then there's the trumpet player, and that's my niece Linnea. Okay, so now in the minor arcana, I have less family members. So these are not necessarily anybody I know, but it could be me looking for my soulmate, maybe, or not. It could just be anybody. That's just anybody. Don't know that person. These are just anybody too, but could represent me as an older lady or with gray hair, or could represent anybody I know in my family as an older person. These three definitely, we are family. This is my sister and me and my sister-in-law. And that's a random person, but it ended up looking a little like my ex-husband, so it's kind of weird, but wasn't intended that way. This is a random person, but it reminds me a lot of Emily. I think that's her name. She said her name on that last video I watched of Kind Heart Tarot. This is my son and his counterpart, I guess. This is a random couple, random person, random person that I did actually meet at the Renaissance Festival, but only took his picture and he gave me a mushroom and that was it. um, this actually is a beautiful random couple, but they look a lot like family of my sister-in-law, and that's my brother, and he's a carpenter. And there's my stepdad. And this that's somebody I know. And yeah, so I don't know who else, like any other family members. So I'm thinking I might like to have some more ethnic people. Maybe put in a black guy as the wingman, possibly. And yeah, yeah. I think I'll just do the white guy, the soulmate, and the black guy, the wingman. Maybe something like that, possibly. Or I could do an old man as the wingman, like a little bit older guy, or like he's kind of like a guide to, you know. Actually, when I kind of visualized it at first, I thought of sort of like thought of sort of like the soulmate dude was seen. Also, I was thinking they were gonna wear hats, but like a Renaissance-y guy, and then the other guy was like sort of older, maybe bearded, more kind of, yeah. But I think it makes more sense that it's a person around the same age if it's a wingman, you know what I mean? So I think that'll work. And the other thing I think about when I do these drawings is like, um, I think about how it might resonate with my sparkles of light, with your story out there. And so there could be some people out there that are same-sex couples, and that could match up too. That could be another little side story. Even though the main story of this is a friend helping a friend find his soulmate, which is supposed to be female, but it doesn't have to be. It could be anybody. Yeah. Really, that's all it. I mean, it is. It's just souls. It's they're represented in the cosmic library as a male and female couple, but they could be anybody. And actually, when I first did this one, I don't know if I have that picture anywhere. What file would I do I have it in here? Private files. Anyway, when I was trying to draw it, I was looking at actors, and I had just seen a preview of Wuthering Heights, and I was like, oh yes, Margot Robbie, I totally need to have her in my use her because she's so pretty, and I'm like, they're a great couple, so I'll just use them, the two of them, for my subject matter. And so I got the blonde lady drawn, and then I realized, you know what? I'm gonna make it more like the dream that I had with the black-haired lady, and I give her black hair. So it goes kind of matches the bubble dream that some of you might know what I'm talking about when I talk about the bubble dream, but the yeah. Anyway, that's enough for now. So thank you so much for joining me, and appreciate your support and your thumbs up. And I hope you join me the next time I go live. I guess I'll use that as my cover photo. Draw the ship tonight. Hey, Divine Goddess! I was just leaving, but I think I might go live Friday night and do readings on Friday, so I'll see you later. Thank you. I shared you an opportunity as well for freelance illustrator. Awesome. Thank you. I'll take a look. Thank you. Appreciate it. I could use the work. Alrighty, well, I'm gonna go. I'm like so hungry and a little bit tired, and my eyes are crossed. I I have a similar like can't make it past 2 hours. Oh wow, remote work. Ah, awesome. I need that. You found it. Thank you. Thank you, Llama. You too. Enjoy the rest of your night. All right. Well, perhaps I'll see you tomorrow and we'll do readings. I'm in the mood to do readings again. Until then, Faith, Trust, and Pixie Dust. I will. I am looking. I'm gonna. Did you send it to my Instagram? Because I was just thinking, like, oh my gosh, with the gas prices going up, and my side job is a driving job. But like, frick, how am I don't know, like if things get really, really bad with the prices, they're not gonna, that's gonna be hard for companies who do those meals and deliver meals. So yeah, and I was thinking I have some remote jobs like training AIs on to do things that I try to do, but I'm just couldn't figure it out completely. Like I was a little bit good at it and some, the test that I took, But yeah, I didn't get very far with some of those remote jobs. But yes, totally could use an Illustrator remote job. Yes, thank you. I hope that that pans out. That would be awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again, Divine Goddess. I'll talk to you later about it. We can chat on Instagram if you want, but I'm gonna go zone out a little bit and not think about art for a minute. I'll talk to you later. Oh, they did? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, chatbot stuff. I feel like I could be good at that, but I don't know. It's the stuff that I was doing was kind of too complicated. All right, well, Asta, see ya Friday. Good night.